Alright, so I'm on a bus to the airport actually, and I thought, you know what, this is some really good footage. Straight down Nezavezimosti here. You probably know this hotel. You can see Minsk Minsk Hotel. This is obviously Ploshka Lenina with Stolitsa underneath here. And we're kind of at the bottom, I guess, of the city area, but I'll just do a bit of filming. I'm going to the airport for a holiday, and I'm going to the Philippines for 3 weeks, of all places. Although by the time I put this video up, I probably would have been there already, and back, and maybe on another holiday. I've been making a lot of videos during the summer because during the winter it's just not that comfortable to make too many videos, and you kind of walk around less and spend less time outside, and kind of less convenient. So we're making a fair up Nezavezimosti now. We'll have Goom on the left hand side fairly shortly and cross over Ulica Lenina. I'm speaking very quietly. I'll be right with the mic here. It's very bad etiquette being loud. Obviously Belarusians are very good with etiquette, and one of their etiquette things is don't be loud in public. So today actually President Xi, so giving away the date here, it's August 22, and President Xi is here. Could you imagine? The Centralny, which I'm sure you'll know. So crossover Lenina, Centralny, and several very famous buildings and sites here. A really fun, so if you go to this little museum here, they have this really cool, it's like what do you call it, like a great race kind of game, and you get the game and it basically makes you go all through the more famous and popular areas looking for things, looking for landmarks, trying to answer questions, all this kind of stuff. It's really cool. I will highly recommend it. Alright, so we're headed up towards Gorky Park and Victory Square, so this will get a bit interesting. I can't film in front of me, it's kind of blocked, so I'm stuck on the side here, but because we drive on the right hand side here in Belarus, we'll go around and we'll have a look at Victory Square. My friend just said the Victory Square is shut today, so this will be interesting to see if we can actually get through. I'm looking ahead and I can see that traffic's getting through, although there is some density of traffic up there, so I'm not sure what's happening. But again, this is just a general video. I won't talk about anything in particular on this video. There you go, Chinese flags. So with you know, the power games that are going on at the moment, and of course anything to do with you know, politics. I mean, the definition of politics is power, right? You can see all of the undercover dudes there, not so undercover. Lots of security around. Lots of security. Let's have a look on the rooftop, see what we can see around, if there's any people guarding up there or anything. Nah. But yeah, you can see dudes everywhere. Plenty of security. So yeah, as the US is kind of playing, let me just check that camera lens, because I think it's a little bit blurry. As the US is playing its current game, or obviously playing multiple games at once, because it's obviously such a superpower with such ambitions. But you know, what's happening is it's kind of pushing some of these other countries away from it, because it's kind of the way it does things. And here you see Belarus and China. I mean, look, they have got some similarities though, yeah, like you think, oh, well, they got in common, but they do in a lot of ways, because that Soviet culture, that communist culture, was the point. You know, it was different from country to country, but there's a lot of similarities. So the mentality is actually similar in some ways. It's not unusual to see Chinese guys here with their Belarusian girlfriends. It's not unusual. It's not super common, but not unusual. So you can see this kind of slow mixing, and so the number of Chinese around has gone up a lot. Even up here, there's still security and militia. There's a few grades of these guys. I don't know who the ones with the white shirts and the ties are, but you got the militia in the blue, and then they can also put on the stormtrooper helmets when they're doing something kind of hardcore. This is Yakuba Colossa. That's obviously Yakuba Coloss there. That big statue, that young fella there. There's my finger. Yakuba Coloss, famous writer, I believe, of Belarusian literature back in the day. He's one of the Lidos. There's a few of these around Lido. Very famous. I guess a high-end stolove in some way. There's a sports centre there as well. I highly recommend it. There you go there. Play table tennis, basketball, whatever you want. There's a gym there. It's a pretty cool place. Society, of course, means neighbours, but it's like I guess a 7-Eleven equivalent. It tends to be a smaller sized neighbourhood store, mini supermarket, if you will. It's BNTY, Belarusian National Technical University, I guess would be. Getting up towards Academia Nauk, which is quite a lot of universities around here, and the University Student Hospitals live right here as well. And then Park, I mean, I can never say it properly. It starts with C, on the right hand side. I won't show you that. I'll just respect people's privacy and not film inside the bus. But yeah, we're headed north, obviously, towards the airport. So certainly I've noticed that, of course, I've been in 2020 when the US had a real crack at trying to overthrow the government here, and the subsequent responses from government, and they're much more cautious this time around. I believe there's an election next February in 2025, and who knows, I may even forget about this video and not release it till after that, so maybe something dramatic happens, maybe it doesn't, but I would anticipate nothing will, because I know from many sources that they're being incredibly thorough with checking people who are coming to the country, checking all their registration details, because here, once you're here, you must register at a certain address and be registered with the government at a certain address, and if you're not at that address and change, you don't tell them, or you don't tell them at all, there's potentially serious consequences. Of course, it's a bit of a, you'll get a standard fine, and then they'll obviously investigate you a bit and try and work out if you're up to anything, and then that will determine if something really bad happens or not. But at the moment, yeah, they're definitely searching a lot of apartments. I've had several friends' apartments who've been searched. Nothing heavy, yeah? They're not like turning the place, ransacking the place, just checking, who are you? Where's your documents? Okay. Are you supposed to be here? Yes, you're registered here. Okay, good. That's it. Nothing heavy, just checking, right? So yeah, we've got the park. As I say, I forget the name. So like 27 syllables, and I just have never committed it to memory. So getting not too far from even Dana Mall now, actually. No, 2 kilometers till Dana Mall, if you know the area well. I'll just keep filming until well, I don't know, until I get bored, until there's not much to film. So yeah, that election's coming up in 6 months' time. I'm not sure how legitimate the elections here are. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell how legitimate they are in any country, to be honest. So I don't know. I won't comment on this, but they could be. I mean, the evidence I've heard to say they're not has not been very convincing, to be quite fair. Again, not saying that they are legitimate, but the so-called evidence that's been put in front of me to date has been weak. In fact, very weak. But again, that doesn't mean it didn't happen. It just means that it's hard to get evidence. But the evidence is, as I say, it's flimsy. It's really flimsy. Just the ones I've heard. Maybe there's something more solid out there. I don't know. But yeah. Obviously, I'm being very diplomatic with what I'm saying. I'm sure you can appreciate that if you're a bit more clued into reality. been there before. So I think we're getting pretty close up to where Dana Mall is. I think it's on the other side actually. Dana Mall's kind of, I don't know if is it the newest one here? It might be the newest one here, I don't know. But this is quite a nice area getting up this way. It's generally, you can see all the buildings are reasonable. There's no like hardcore ghetto 1960s Soviet shit. It's a decentish kind of area in and around Dana Mall and the National Library there. See a lot of, you're getting a lot of this at the moment in Belarus. I'm seeing a lot of this in Minsk. These kind of murals on the side of the walls, on the buildings. And look, it's a good idea because, you can see that one right directly in front of you there. Look, it looks a bit down, mate. You know what I mean? Like, and you can just see the different patterns and the different coloured window frames. Some are faded, some are painted white, some are not. The balconies are glassed in, some aren't. It looks fucking ugly. So let me just check this here again. You're fogged up there. Oh no, sorry, it's actually on the window. Oh, it's grease from someone's hair on the window. That's gross. So anyway, you can see on the side of the building here these kind of patterns. I don't know what significance, if any, it has, apart from the fairly obvious. Oh, there you go. It says CCP on it. So it's a Soviet mural. So really that's SSSR. So that would be literally direct translation to the Socialist Soviet something Republic. I can't remember what it is. What the third S is. If you know what the third S is, Soviet Socialist something Republic. What's the third S? I don't think there's a third S, but it does say SSSR, so there's three S's obviously. Because in in English it's USSR, not SSSR. So there's been some kind of translation there. Alright, I've actually walked in this forest before. No, I haven't. I've walked in one. It must be over the walkway here because I know these buildings well. It must be the next thing up. That was actually what do you call it? A cemetery. I think it must be the next one up. That there's a forest. You can see it. I've walked in this forest before. Back in the day, mate. Back in the day. That exciting time around April, when it's like consistently above zero and you can kind of like not wear a really heavy jacket. Oh, that's a great time. I know this area. This is right near Dana Mall. Dana Mall's on the other side there. I know those buildings. You can see there, they're quite nice, right? Some of those designs, the red pointy things there, and a bit better quality. And I know definitely some of the IT guys kind of live around here. There's a real big IT area right at the very top of the metro. Very specific buildings made to a higher finish, and a lot of the IT guys moved in there. It's really a bizarre three-tier economy. You've got kind of business and government on this one tier, and then you've got normal people on the common tier, and then you've got the IT. This is actually the last stop. I know where we are. This is the last station. This is it Uchus? I think it's called. Our last metro station, number 124. So as I recall, this bus actually stopped. I've never caught the bus before. To the airport, usually I just get a taxi. But I've decided I'm being too extravagant and I should be more normal, so I thought I'll catch a bus. And one place where Minsk is engraved in the hill there. But I did see when I was checking out the timetable that it does stop here somewhere. So yeah, this is the last metro stop to the north. Yeah, so I've got a seat next to me at the moment, and I reckon that's about to change as someone gets on. There's a flight attendant and some dude looks Turkish. Let's hope I don't have too much company next to me, but I'm afraid that I might have to because the bus is pretty full, to be fair, and I'm lucky to have a spot next to me, but I think that will go immediately. So they're all the famous. Well, let me just zoom in on that for you. I'll go through some of those shops because look, every suburb's kind of the same. So obviously Burger King. So I'll start from the right. Burger King, and I know what the second one is. Is it Ornamental magazine shop? Kari is just I think it's a Russian company that has like lots of I don't know, odds and ends. It's got a lot of shoes. It's got a lot of things like umbrellas and gloves and scarves and kitchenware and vacuum cleaners. It's a smallish shop, but yeah, Dodo next to it is Dodo Pizza. Coffee's in there, of course, famous coffee shop. KFC, Domino's. Santa in the blue there. Sorry, someone's greased up the window with their head. The blue there is Santa, which is just a supermarket. They're the most famous ones. Yeah, that's about all. You can read them yourself. Oh, there's an Apteca as well, which you'll know. So I'll give you guys another 2 minutes, and then I'll stop recording. I don't know, I'll just zoom back out again. I'm not sure how much further development goes. I haven't strayed too far this way in recent times. You can see these buildings are actually brick. This one in front of me is actually brick instead of concrete slabs. Although some of them are just brick and then they're rendered. Depends where it is, but obviously in the West we just have, certainly in Australia, we just have concrete slabs pulled up and drilled together. Those are old school bricks. I mean, brick ages well. I think that's one. Whereas some of these other colours, when they start putting these random pretty funky colours, they can age not in a desirable fashion, to be quite frank. It's a bit of a risk. But even though, I mean, that orange, that was fashionable in, I think, the 1960s. In Australia, maybe into the 70s. I think there was like a dark brown and then a light brown brick. They were all kind of big around that, between 50s, 60s, 70s. At least in fashion-wise in Australia, that was the case. And then red, of course, has that timeless kind of look about it. There you go, that's what I mean, that kind of more yellowy brick there. I lived in a house like that in Melbourne. That's where I grew up. Alright guys, that's enough from me. I might even do a couple of videos from Philippines, just some contrast, because look, at the end of the day, Minsk is a European city, and although the incomes on average don't match Western Europe countries, I mean, living here is essentially the same in most ways, in terms of quality of life and so forth. So going to a place like the Philippines, the variation there is very wide, and unless you're in kind of exclusive areas in some of the bigger cities or in your own kind of exclusive regions, it can get pretty, this hasn't been developed yet. You just don't get the concrete and the glass everywhere. Sometimes you just get, little bits of wood holding up some tin that makes a little shelter for someone to sell something, you know what I mean? That's the reality of it, depending where you are, of course, and it is developing as well, but I think the contrast between the two is significant. So I might make a couple of videos from there before I come back. Alright everybody, enjoy your days.